is a minister in UCM and is going to be ordained next month on March 10th. And so we're asking everybody to please be here for her ordination, which will be at 2 o'clock on that Sunday, March 10th. And this is Rhonda Turner O'Brien, and she is here to talk to us today about the goddess. So many people feel that God is male, God is female, God is all. And that's what we feel here at the Center for Creative Living. What your concept of God is, who you identify with as being that supreme energy force. And with Rhonda, Minister Rhonda, she has taken that path of working with the female aspect of God. Whatever that aspect is, it's absolutely perfect for you. And so would you please welcome Reverend, not yet, Minister Rhonda Turner O'Brien.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
And thank you for being here to listen to me. I'm going to talk about the goddess and healing in the goddess. And you know, I had some candy over there. I was going to pass out.
It was there.
I just
I saw it earlier this morning.
I was helping.
okay.
I'll film myself.
So maybe it will be passed out, and at the end with that we'll do a blessing on ourselves, a self-blessing. But so the type of goddess practice or worship that I'll be talking about is eclectic goddess circles. And so there's no like one particular tradition that's, you know, followed. It's, you know, a collection of different traditions, some Celtic, some Native American. And by the way, if you can't hear me, raise your hand, and I'll know to talk louder, okay? So, I first came into a goddess circle 20 some odd years ago. I had decided that, well, I at that time had a Mormon background of 15 years. And I had decided that it no longer worked for me, no longer served me. And always, since I was a little girl, ever since I was able to read, I always would go for books that were more on the metaphysical and energy plane. Yet always I feared, because of the media and just what people would say, that there was something evil about it. So I just kind of tried to suppress it. But always in my heart I yearned for it. So at that point in my life, I told myself, I'm going to check out this nature-based stuff. And if that's who I am, if it means that I'm gonna go to HELL hockey sticks, well then, I guess that's where I'm gonna go. Because if that's who I am and that's what's gonna happen, then so be it. But I did find out that it was a very spiritual path. I mean, I had it confirmed to me by spirit. There are many paths, and this is one of them. And it's okay. So I would like to talk to you about how the practice uses feminine energies, different in the form of different goddesses. It's done healing work that's done as ritual work, and you can do healing rituals for just about anything. Anything. And some people like to try to attract more finances into their life. Some people want to attract love or just heal and let go of things that don't serve us anymore. So there can be men and women in these healing circles, but many of the eclectic circles have women only, because women's healings issues are different than men's in many ways. We have separate types of energy, and for some women, they had been hurt by the patriarch, not like all of us in Western civilization. So it's a safe place, and where sacred energy is contained. Not that it's not safe to have been in it too. So let that be said. So the healing is full of possibilities to manifest healing, or attract or let go of something in the lives of the participants. And it's a way of getting the right brain to activate and work the energy for healing purposes. So a typical moon circle, people will meet up on a particular date. Often the moon is full. Fuller moons are good for bringing things in. New moon, of course, is good for starting new things. And when the moon is waning, that helps when you're doing a ritual to release things, because nature helps us. What nature is doing, we're of nature, we're spirit and nature. And that's what goddess practice or worshiping utilizes, is we use the spirit and the physical. So there are certain times of year, every year, there's a thing called the Wheel of the Year. And these different things that happen at the same time each year are ways that we celebrate and do things that in a cycle, whereas our body and spirit, being a part of nature, like to go well best with going with the cycle, going with the flow of nature. And let's see. The annual celebrations are said to coincide with our own natural inclinations during seasons of the year. I won't get into specifics about all of them, but we do celebrate the equinoxes and the solstices. And then there are some in between. A very special one is in February. It's the Candlemas or Imbolc, for new beginnings, making new promises, renewing vows. So also there are what's referred to as esbats that run in between these special Sabbats, and they will fall normally on a full moon for the eclectic circle. And so the women will meet, and when they come in, the hosting priestess will usually cleanses the area that the circle will be cast, and sets an intention to that room and energy. And so the women come in, and typically sage is used as a purification Some will use a special water that's been blessed. But the women will sage, or they'll sometimes one will sage the next, or one person may sage everybody, go around and sage everyone. The sage is a very cleansing thing, and that's done before the circle is cast. I want to say the first time that I attended a circle, because when I put it out there to the universe and I said, okay, I'm going to do this, within 2 weeks I got invited to a circle. And when I went, when they lit the sage, I got a little scared because I thought, uh-oh, is that pot? And then they came and one of the women saged me, and I could just feel the wonderful cleansing from it. I said, oh, okay, this is a good thing, and it's, it's nothing illegal about that. Yeah. So they sage, and then a meditation is, the circle will be cast, and usually one woman will be asked to call in each direction, so there are 4 of them, and then one person will call in the center. Because we use the elements of air, fire, water, and earth, and then spirit, or goddess, any type of spirit, goddess, and which the elements coincide with directions. And we ask, any good spirits of these areas and elements to join us, along with invoking the energy of the particular goddess of whatever your ritual is that you're going to do. You want to choose a goddess that will promote and help with that energy. And then you invoke the energy that goes with that goddess. And meditation is done generally to prepare for the particular healing ritual. And that is done, and once it's done, then the ritual work begins. And the hosting priestess will normally tell the participants before the meditation, this is what our ritual is, and here's what we'll be doing after the meditation. And so there are many different ways to have rituals. Sometimes it's doing a craft, which those are fun ones. Taking herbs for specific things, maybe making a charm bag for yourself. Sometimes it's writing things down and then reading them if the person wants to, each person, and then perhaps it might be something that you put under your pillow, if you want to manifest it. But if you're letting go, then we'll do a burning. And then a little chant after that to just send it off. And depending on what kind of healing work is going to be done, then that's, the women will know before the meditation. And it's very nice because just, your spirit and subconscious, you don't even have to think about it. It just will come to you when you're done with the meditation. If it's something where you're writing things down, it flows. You probably have all experienced something like this. And so, and then once everyone has done the healing work with the ritual, then everyone takes a drum or a rattle, and the women or other participants begin drumming. First, maybe there's a goddess song, and it's sung a couple of times, and then the drums just completely take over, the drums and rattles. And it's working up a cone of energy for healing and releasing. And yeah, it's a wonderful way to get into your right brain, so that you're right there, just in that moment. Right brain working, just drumming up that energy, literally drumming it up. It's like, it's a way of sending prayers out in the form of energy. And it's good stuff. And normally, and many times, it's very lighthearted. Because when we're lighter, it's often easier to get the right brain going and make things happen. Or help things happen, shall I say. Some people like to say it's magic. But to me, it's a spiritual thing, and there's a science to it. Because it's a scientific thing to know that you do these things, and when you do the certain things every time, like the sage or in the meditation, the drums, your body and your spirit know, okay, it's time to go in the right brain. So there's a science to it, actually, when you think of it. But hey, it can be magic. But I kind of see it as a scientific, spiritual scientific process. So, let's see, what else did I want to mention here? Okay, so I talked about the meditation, the cleansing, and the ritual work, and the drumming, sending out prayers, and just creating that cone of, pulling that cone of energy up, and releasing it. Yeah, so the drums will go, and everything just goes into sync, and the energy is amazing. And one person will have the notion, they'll be moved to sort of do it in a way to where everybody knows, okay, it's time to stop. And then it stopped, and everybody's just really enjoying that energy, even after it's done. So, once that's done, then we release the directions, and the elements and the directions. We release them, tell them, go if you must, but stay if you will. And then there's some food, because you gotta eat to ground. And socializing. Sometimes there was a particular lady that was in our circle, a wonderful, wonderful woman, Judith Waterfall Dragon. She was probably about 20 years older than me. And we used to love to just, when one of the sisters would bring a big mother drum, she and I would just dance around that drum. We just had so much fun, just inner child coming out and dancing around that drum. Yes, I will always have that vision in my mind. It was a very good time. And so, also, one thing I didn't mention was in the beginning, after the circle's cast, before the meditation, each person checks in. We use a talking stick or like a rattle, and one of those things where, each woman will light a candle for herself before the ritual, and has the opportunity to say, when she'll be holding the rattle, and check in and say whatever is on her mind. Maybe about what you know, the healing work we're about to do, or just whatever is on her mind. And then the meditation begins. And on that note, I wanted to also bring up again that I do hold a women's rattle healing circle the second Tuesday of each month. And it's not one where we do ritual work. It's one where we sit and come in and we'll call in directions, and then we will have the rattle and candles. We do a meditation and light candles for ourselves and pull some from some healing decks, just a couple cards from healing decks each woman pulls. And then after we do the meditation, we'll go around and each woman, and when we're talking, we hold the rattle and nobody else talks. No cross talk. I mean, of course, you know, there are exceptions. But, so when we're talking, we hold the rattle, and then that person's cards that they drew are read, and then they can, that opens up for them to say, wow, you know, I can't believe I drew these cards, I know why. And so it goes around like that. And that's the women's healing rattle pass. Each woman who speaks from her heart and her own truth. And everyone respects where that person is at. None of us are in the same spot. We're all different. And whatever it is respected and listened to. We stay in that, try to stay right in the moment. And so it's a healing circle. And what's said there stays there. And there's a very sacred energy that's held there in that circle among the women. And it's very good for healing. So, without further ado, I'm going to pass out this candy. And if you can't eat it, or you don't want to, it's okay, you can do it in spirit. Okay?
What do you want that done? That side? No, Mark can have it. Don't want you guys seeing short.
Yeah, and it's just a simple blessing. Oh, thank you.
So does the candy symbolize?
Well, yes, it does. It will. Yes. Which you will discover when, yes. Yeah, we'll have it like an affirmation that we say as we consume candy and make it part of our body and spirit. Yeah. Some rituals can be just eating different foods, different colors of foods and different, yeah. It can be very simple.
Well, the candy's being passed out. Could you tell us about some of the things on the altar?
Okay, sure.
So, okay, you guys, if you're supposed to hold one, I guess you get one. But don't eat it. No melting.
Okay, so these are, of
Lots of
course,
rolls.
are different goddesses, right here. And this candle is one that represents the spirit.
Patty, did you get one?
And this area, I used my compass app. This is east, or powers of air. Cleansing, intellect, that kind of energy. And then this represents south, which is passion, fire represents passion, creativity, things that come from passion. And I think I said this center represents spirit, goddess. And this represents west or water, healing, intuition, cleansing. They're all cleansing. They all have their methods of cleansing. And this represents earth, which is, yes, north, and physical things, wealth, health. So I like to put, things from the earth that I love in that area. And these are, of course, that's a rose quartz crystal and amethyst, 2 good healing stones. This is my wand, one of my wands, and I keep it in the fire zone. Air. Oh, I did have the talking stick and with the feather right there. So a feather is a good thing to put for air. And then here with the water, west and water, I have a little seashell. And this is something that we made during Candle Moss one year, the year that I was initiated there. I still have it. And, come on. So we made them and then we wore them for the celebration.
Goes with the outfit too.
Oh, thank you.
It does. It does.
Well, I'll just
Wear it.
wear it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Looks great on you.
See, and it goes with the outfit.
All right, so now, if you eat the candy, you don't, like I said, you don't have to eat it. You can hold it and you can keep it in your purse.
Now it's time to open it?
Well, that might melt. Yes, so it's time to open the candy. As I said, this is just a very simple blessing. Ooh, they're a little bit melty.
That's good.
And I know my husband's really glad to have that candy. So we're going to say, may I never hunger, and may I always have sweetness in my life.
May I never hunger, and may I always have sweetness in my life.
And I ingest it into my body and my spirit.
And I ingest it into my body and my spirit.
Blessed be.
Blessed be.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Blessed be.